Well, hello everybody, or hello everybody. Welcome to episode 2 of my Fantasy Fight series, where I pin two characters from different universes and pin and match them up together and determine who I think will win in a battle. Today, I am pinning together two of the most famous and iconic magical powerhouses in comic book and fictional history. From the Marvel side, I have Cain Marko, aka the Unstoppable Juggernaut. And from the DC side, who was originally published by Fawcett Comics, William Joseph Batson, aka the original Captain Marvel. I will not and shall not call him Shazam. So, I am gonna hide that. Anyways, let's get started. Um, as you guys can see from the chat, for those of you, wow, there's no one participating. Hmm. But I oh, what the yo, he fucks. Hmm. Okay, I finally have one. All right, let's get started. So let's start off with Cain Marko. He made his very first appearance in the 12th issue of the Uncanny X-Men comics, written and drawn by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby in the 1960s. Now, like so many of the other X-Men famous Marvel characters at this time, he was created by, as the men I said before, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. Now, Juggernaut is the stepbrother of Professor Charles Xavier, known as Cain Marko. Cain Marko was kind of a troubled youth, but then again, he didn't really have much of a father figure in his life because his father, Kurt Marko, was kind of a douchebag. I mean, he was very abusive towards him. He played favorites. He was more favored. He was more kind to Charles Xavier because of his success in school. But a lot of that success came from Charles's mutant ability of telepathy. And because of this, Cain began to resent Charles. Years later, as they were grown-ass adults, they would serve together in the Korean War as a member of the U.S. Army. However, Cain decided to leave his post. Charles is like, hey, wait a minute, man, you'll get court-martialed. So they both run off, enter a cave that had a temple, a very mystical temple belonging to an ancient, evil, and powerful demon known as Sidorak. And Cain stumbled upon a mystical gem. And as soon as he touched the gem, a mystical inscription popped up. Whosoever touches this. Let me get the dialogue correctly here. There we go. Here we go. So I can get the words correctly. Whoever touches this gem shall possess the power of the crimson bands of Sidorak. Henceforth, who read these words shall become forevermore a human juggernaut. Once he said those words, Cain Marko, the mystical energies from the crimson gem bombarded Cain Marko, transforming into a juggernaut, to the juggernaut. However, the mystic energies also caused the cave around to collapse. While Charles managed to escape with his life, Cain was buried beneath the debris. But to Charles and the rest of the world, Cain was dead. But oh boy, was good old Charles wrong. As being now the juggernaut, he was able to dig himself out. Granted, it took about a few years to do so, but it gave him more time to plan his revenge against Charles Xavier and the rest of the world. From that point on, Cain would establish himself as one of the premier powerhouses as well as villains in the Marvel Universe. However, while I did say he's a villain, other than recently, there have been times where Cain tried to redeem himself, especially before and even during the World War Hulk event. However, recently, Cain once lost his power of the Juggernaut once the Sidorak gem was crushed and he was sent to Limbo. However, Cain escaped Limbo by sacrificing his armor, and he was able to return to Earth. However, he gets sent to a hospital due to the fact that he came out of the Limbo very weak and injured. So he gets visited by his stepbrother Charles Xavier via telepathically, and basically says, "Listen, Cain, I'm glad you're doing well. I'm glad you want to do good in this world, but I can't make you a citizen of Croaca, which was the safe haven the X-Men created in recent years, because you're not a mutant." So once Cain fully recovered, he was determined to regain the power of the Juggernaut. So he goes to a monastery, in Budapest for some answers. Once he enters this monastery, he discovers the Crimson Bands of Sidorak and the remaining piece of the Crimson Gem of Sidorak. Once he bonds with the Crimson Gem of Sidorak and obtains the remains of it, he re-becomes the Juggernaut once more, but with a new armor. However, he is then met with Sidorak and pretty much tells Sidorak that since he is bonded with the Crimson Bands of Sidorak, his powers are no longer connected to Sidorak, and therefore the Juggernaut's powers are his and his alone. And basically tells Sidorak, "I will no longer work for madmen nor gods." Basically saying Cain is willing to do good. This is where Cain goes on a path of redemption. I gotta say, this reminds me why not all characters like being villains. There are characters that have a heart. I know a lot of us remember him as a big time rogue of not only the X-Men, but also Spider-Man, the Fantastic Four, and even the Hulk for quite some time. But nonetheless, Cain is now rejoined the X-Men and has helped them on their many recent adventures. Now on to powers and abilities for Juggernaut. Juggernaut is one of the strongest beings on Earth. He's capable of going toe-to-toe against the Hulk and Thor, and has given both of those powerhouses a run for their money. He has shattered level buildings. He's lifted up skyscrapers, overpowered tanks. He's even knocked the Stranger on his ass a few times. who's a cosmic entity known whose powers to supposedly rival Galactus and even Uatu the Watcher, if my memory serves me correctly. Um, he has near invulnerability, meaning he's highly resistant to physical damage. However, in his current state, his skin has been shown to be vulnerable to adamantium. We all know adamantium is one of the strongest metals on Earth, and it can pierce through almost any material. If Cain does get hurt, he has a regenerative healing factor, which, there was at one point where he was able to uh, regenerate from being returned to a mere skeleton. However, recently, he was even able to recover from a near lethal beating from the extremely powerful Sentinel like robot Nimrod, which is extremely impressive if I don't say so myself. Um, he has high levels of superhuman speed. He can run approximately around exceeding 600 miles per hour. He has a force field which he can use to enhance his durability, increase his resistance to physical damage. He has superhuman leaping ability, similar to the Hulk, where he can leap incredible distance in a single bound. He has irresistible embodiment, better known as his unstoppable movement. Once Cain starts moving, he ain't never stopping. And those are the abilities he currently has right now. Um, so yeah, he has pretty cool abilities, if I don't say so myself. So now we'll move on to his combatants. We move on to Cain, and now we move on to good old Billy Batson, who made his very first appearance under the alias of Captain Marvel before the stupid name change. And as I said before, I will call him by his original name. By his original name, Captain Marvel, and Wiz Comics Volume 1, Issue Number 2, back in June of 1940. And as I said before, he was published at the time by Fawcett Comics. He was created by Bill Parker and C.C. Beck, and during the 1940s, he was the most popular hero in all of comics, outselling heavy hitters like Superman and Batman at the time. Ain't that some shit? Anyways, good old Billy Batson has been around the corner and is one of the oldest superheroes in comics, and as far as I'm concerned, he's one of the best. Now, I'm going to mostly incorporate his origin from this series, where he is the son of two famous archaeologists. Let me go see here. Hmm. I'm trying to think of their names. In the post, as I said before, I'm going to go over his origin that was given to us in the Power of Shazam, in the beginning graphic novel. Or his parents. His parents were very good archaeologists. His father was Clarence Charles Batson, and his mother was Meriden Batson. While they were doing some archaeology work, they were killed by their bodyguard in by the descendant of Teth Adam, aka the Black Adam, um, forgot the dude's name. Oh yes, Theo Adam. Theo Adam, who happens to be an assistant of theirs, some type of security guard for them. Almost a security guard, more like a bodyguard, while they were working for one of who would eventually become Captain Billy's arch rival, Dr. Thaddeus Savannah, Theo Adam. And basically, while digging up some work, Theo Adam killed him in cold blood. And then Billy was left an orphan. Then, of course, instead of being given his inheritance, he would be robbed of it by his cruel and abusive uncle known as Ebenezer Batson. So basically, Billy had to fend for himself on the streets of Fawcett City. So one day, while selling newspapers, he would then be approached by a shadowy figure resembling his father, C.C. Batson, Clarence Charles Batson, and basically was tells the boy to follow him to the subway station. Now, I know some of y'all may be thinking, really, he's going to follow a shadowy figure to the subway station? I know it sounds creepy, but let's see where it goes, shall we? So they go to the train station. All of a sudden, a train comes up with crazy hieroglyphics on it. Billy enters the train, and the train leaves the subway and travels through space and time, where they enter a place known as the Rock of Eternity. Then they enter a cavern, where Billy is then greeted, where Billy encounters the statues of the 7 deadly enemies or sins of man. But then, more importantly, he is soon discovered by an elderly man who turns out to be the extremely powerful wizard known as Shazam. He tells Billy his name, and he tells Billy that he's been fighting the forces of evil for thousands upon thousands of years, and tells Billy that he is his new champion because of his good nature, his purity in heart, and strength in spirit. Billy shouts the wizard's name and is struck by I'm going all over the place here, I apologize. He is struck by a magical lightning bolt and is transformed into the world's mightiest mortal known as Captain Marvel. However, when he gained his ability, he was like angered, like, what did you do to me? He attacks the wizard, beats the hell out of the wizard, but then he managed to calm himself down, and he eventually decides to use his powers for good. Captain Marvel will go on to have many different adventures throughout the years, even some epic clashes against villains other than, like, let's say his arch nemesis Black Adam, Dr. Thaddeus Savannah, Iback, things like that. But he would even become a part of both the Justice Society of America and the Justice League of America. Hell, I think he was even part of Justice League International at one point, which I thought was pretty damn cool. Anyway, let's get into his abilities now. When Billy shouts the word Shazam, each letters of the word Shazam grants Captain Marvel ability. Let's start off with the letter S. S for the Wisdom of Solomon. This grants Billy not only wisdom, but superhuman knowledge, intelligence, clairvoyance, multilingual, if not omnilingualism, a good conscience, and some degree of hypnotism. These abilities have proven very useful to Captain Marvel throughout the years. Hell, there have been times where he would see someone for the first time, and he would know what the heck it is right off the bat. H is for the Strength of Hercules. Now, I don't know if I really need to explain this ability, but just for the fun of it, I'm going to go a brief rundown of it. The Strength of Hercules grants Billy immeasurable levels of superhuman strength, comparable to that of not only his arch nemesis Black Adam, but also that of Superman and Wonder Woman, making him one of the strongest heroes in all of comics and fiction, not just in the DC universe specifically, but as I said before, in all of comics and fiction. Next up is the Stamina of Atlas. The Stamina of Atlas grants Billy, in his Captain Marvel form, unlimited stamina, self-sustenance, and endurance, meaning he does not tire, he does not get fatigued. He can perform Herculean labels infinitely without exhaustion. Now, Z, this is where things get really interesting. Z for the power of Zeus. With this power from the Olympian Skyfather, Captain Marvel can do all kinds of things, such as manipulate and control the magical lightning, conduct sorcery and magical spells, share his power with those he deems worthy, increase his other godlike power, change back and forth between him and his superpowered form. He can access to interstellar travel. Trying to think here. But yeah, He can do all kinds of things with the. He can use the powerhouses to heal himself and others. So yeah, he's very powerful. Also, more importantly, it grants him vast resistance to magical attacks. Only beings that possess high order levels of magic, like the Wizard Shazam, the Spectre, and even Doctor Fate, have proven capable of harming Captain Marvel. The second A in the word Shazam grants him the courage of Achilles. This grants Captain Marvel not only immeasurable levels of courage, bravery, and fearlessness, but also near invincibility that is shown to be somewhat superior to that even Superman. Due to the fact even Superman recognized that Billy is better suited against supernatural threats than him. I mean, Billy can take punches from Superman without sustaining too much injury. He was able to withstand a Tesseract bomb, which turns everything around inside out. And according to Captain Marvel himself, he felt that none other members of the Justice League would have been able to survive it. So basically, in his mind, he was the only one powerful enough to withstand it due to his mystical abilities. Um, And last but not least, M for the speed of Mercury. The speed of Mercury makes Billy one of the fastest and swiftest beings you can possibly think of. I mean, his speed is so great, it is supposedly greater than Superman and rivals that of the Flash. As a matter of fact, there was a point in the comics where Billy was able to keep up with pace at light speed, and if not beyond light speed, with the fastest and the most powerful of all the Flashes, Wally West. And Wally West, like, is this guy a speed fortune? Because he's keeping up with me pretty good. So yeah, that's pretty much it. He can fly. That's pretty much it, really. I mean, that's all his powers and abilities and skill sets. He's pretty good in hand-to-hand combat, both as Billy Batson and in his Captain Marvel form. He has a very strong Boy Scout attitude. He's very good at drawing stuff. You know, he's a very good reporter too. So there's that in between. Um, and he has got some street smarts, even as Billy Batson. So yeah, there's that in between. Um, so now to the battle breakdown. So I think this will be a really good fight. I think both of these men are capable of going toe to toe for each other and peak in physical condition without really much exhaustion. But if I was to say who has more of an advantage, I would say Captain Marvel because of his speed and wisdom of Solomon. I mean, the speed of Mercury makes him much faster than Juggernaut, and the wisdom of Solomon makes him a much more smarter, more tactical fighter than Juggernaut. But as always, now I leave it up to you guys. Once I put the link down, once I check out what you guys have to say in the comments, um, I will also drop the link. However, as I said before, in the rules, I won't accept call-ins to those who have an opinion on this fight. So let's go. Oh my god. It's fucking garbage. So it's just mostly garbage. Shazam sounds unbeatable. Not really. Which I pretty much gave the he pretty What is Shazam's weak? What is Captain Marvel's weakness? Um, high order magic, high order magic, uh, high voltage electricity. If a certain amount of electricity, if you use on Captain Marvel, he will revert back to Billy Batson. And if you manage to taper Billy Batson's mouth shut, prevent him from saying the word Shazam. That's the only. I'm gonna ban this fuck. I don't trust this person. It sounds like a fucking. Hello, baby. I think she's one of them fucking. She sounds like one of them fucking promiscuous bitches. I think. So yeah. Oh my god. Can we actually fucking. Could Juggernaut run through a prostitute house? He has irresistible. Once he starts moving, he ain't never stopping. No force on earth can stop him. Can we like fucking just take this shit seriously? Well, if Captain Marvel can produce the lightning of Zeus, how can Hall Vertage hurt him? Well, let me rephrase that. Maybe like if Zeus himself, which actually, even though it's an Elseworld, it was shown if the power of Zeus, the Zeus can prevent Billy Batson by not allowing. Let me see. In the Injustice comics, when Billy was beating the shit out of the other Greek pantheon, Zeus stepped in and transformed him back into Billy Batson with his lightning. And when Billy said the word Shazam, the lightning didn't strike him because Zeus didn't allow it, didn't allow the lightning to strike Billy. So, so yeah. Also, for those of you who want to call in and voice your opinion on who would win the matchup, please do so. I just posted in the chat. Okay, I'm gonna put the Roy Beatty asshole in timeout. Let's see. Waiting for the fuckers to call me. Well, I only got one more. What the fuck? I said sh. Hey, Colin, what's up?
Hey man, so yeah, actually, change of plans is tune up. So Thomas and I are really hoping that we could kind of keep up our hiking streak. So yeah, we're gonna be doing the park on Sunday. Is that all right?
That's fine. Yeah, no worries.
And hey, actually, you'll get to see one of the places where I used to run cross country back in high school.
Okay, no problem, man.
All right, cool. Talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.